Hello everyone, Parse7 here, back with more Bloons TD Battles 2. So this is a match I played against a top 50 Hall of Masters player. So I'm guessing, pretty sure that this is still Moab Pit I was in when I recorded this, and so it was kind of crazy to see a Hall of Masters player still back in Moab Pit. So the first impression I got from this match here was I kind of assumed that he was going for the same strat as me. Then I realized that, oh, he's going spaced eco, which meant that he was probably going for like tack farm decamo, with the decamo either being like, wizard, sub, mortar. Pretty sure those are the three decamo options. But that's a pretty, I guess, solid strategy, banking on, all outing your opponent on round 22 or 24. So I guess there's that. And of course, because he's going spaced eco, that does allow me to greed, very heavily. I was actually able to get Gwen on round 2, when, if he was going grouped eco, I would only be able to get Gwen on round 3. Also, because this was actually like recorded during a session to where I wasn't really actually trying to record footage, and was just playing just to grind out trophies for a high arena, so there's no in-game audio for this one. I usually turn in-game audio off and usually have something playing on my other monitor, just as the game can get a bit uninteresting at times until opponent actually, I guess, does something against me. So Tech Farm Decamo is a strategy that I did dabble with a bit, not really a whole lot, as just kind of like a few games I played against it. And so the general strategy I guess kind of use against Tech Farm Decamo is generally just pressuring. If you can pressure your opponent early game and force them to spend money on upgrades rather than actually farms, that's pretty much ideal. You definitely want to force the upgrade whenever you can, but don't make sure to spend too much on forcing upgrades, because you do want money to be able to defend their rushes that will eventually come later on. Tech Farm Decamo is a strategy that is a very rush heavy strategy. It's a very exciting strategy to play against, because you can, when you do see that strat, you can pretty much expect for you to get like all outed on, I guess, like a certain round. It could be an early round, it can be a later round. That all out rush can come at pretty much any time, so it's a strategy that you're gonna have to, I guess, be vigilant and just kind of I guess not really worry about, but it is something that you're gonna have to keep in mind when your opponent is going farms, is that all out rush could come at any time. So don't be too overly greedy, because if your opponent sees that and they're all out to you, you might have to sell your farms that you just got for defense. And of course, this guy was a top 50 Hall of Masters player last season, so I can imagine that, he's probably pretty good when it comes to, I guess, just using this strategy, just in general. So pretty much here, I'm actually pretty much my strategy here is to over defend. Just get as much defense as possible, going for that very early icicles before I even go for my camo village. This was kind of an old way I used to play Attack Ice Village. I don't really play Attack Ice Village kind of the same way as I do now. It's not really like too drastically of a different change, but it does allow me to get camo village and icicles like up before round 12. Just kind of like I guess just like kind of managing eco. That's kind of something I just kind of learned, is how to eco efficiently a lot better. That allowed me to climb up to ZOMG Superdome, which I am currently in. Now, of course, he is scaling up his shimmer for, of course, round 12. Although looking back, I probably could have sent, purples at him, as he doesn't really have any purple defense for a bit of a while. Of course, wizard can't pop purples except for fireball. That would kill while a flyer, and a blade shooter is really just kind of all he has for just some purple defense in general. So I probably could have sent some purples at him just to have him just kind of upgrade, or like buy maelstrom or do something, just kind of detract money from all the farms he's going to be spending. So he gets Necromancer in preparation for round 13. So yeah, I was kind of hesitant to rush during this match, as again, since I knew that he had farms, I was sure that I want to be able to defend all of his rushes that comes at me. I don't really want to spend too much money on a rush and then realize that, oh no, I don't have money for the all out rush that's going to be coming. So as you can see here, I'm actually being like extra careful, getting a like setting up for a mail in the back, just in case he decides to rush me with something. I guess the kind of bad thing about going with farms is that You can usually tell when a rush is coming if your opponent's going eco strategy, because all of a sudden their eco stops, and then, you know, a few seconds later, you know, that rush comes, so it does give you time to prepare. With farms, it's not kind of the same thing, you know, a rush is going to be coming and you have no indication of kind of when it is, except for, you know, your opponent quickly selling farms. But even then, that's kind of doesn't give you as much time to prepare as, you know, like eco strategies will. Like, you know, all of a sudden their eco stops and, you know, that rush eventually shows up. So pretty much, I think we're just kind of just waiting to see. He doesn't really seem too interested in, you know, just kind of rushing me. I wasn't even sure if I actually wanted to save up for a of course, a tax sprayer for the Moab on round 17. He doesn't actually plan to send me a Moab and just kind of lets me just kind of sit there and sit back in eco. I do believe I was actually trying to go for a Monkey Town, which I end up doing right here, just in case. And so I was able to get it almost immediately and just kind of spend money on that. Kind of weird he didn't really punish me for actually going for Monkey Town, because I don't have any Moab defense at all. If he gets sent a Moab at me, he would have I would have had to sell Monkey Town for an overdrive, and probably would have boosted that. So now the time to start being worried. He sold everything for a BRF. Kind of interesting, as I assume that, you know, I guess selling everything for I have played farm strategies in the past, mainly being DFA, but yeah, BRF. So that means that, you know, he's probably going to get ready for rush. I assume that, you know, bottom path would be better farms in general, just because, you know, the increased sellback. And so I end up sending him an F mob just to, you know, have him do something. He doesn't have any mob defense at all, just to have him, you know, just kind of do something. He ends up getting a Maelstrom, which is kind of interesting, since, you know, Mail isn't really good for mob defense, especially since he hasn't done a whole lot of damage towards it. So it was kind of interesting that he decided to get Mail and ends up dying, you know, just because of that. I guess he ended up sending me a little taunt there, even though he himself ended up dying. So I guess GG Skew Gaming. Hopefully you make it to Hall Masters again this season. Alright, so moving all the way over to ZOMG Superdome. This guy is going for a sub, which is kind of interesting, as he goes for middle path sub first, even though I feel like a 001 sub-star would be better than going for a 01 0, but he still gets twin guns anyway, so I guess that's kind of good for him. I'm not really too familiar with subs, as I haven't really used it too much. I don't even think I have pretty much any sub upgrades unlocked yet, so I guess there's that. I've been thinking about using sub for ports and inflection, but I can't really think of any like good sub strategies that, you know, that isn't, you know, druidized sub, as I don't really want to use that. It is kind of boring having every match go late. So he ends up placing down ace. I don't know what he's doing with this ace, but I guess he's trying to micro it, but it's just kind of ends up looking a bit strange, if I'm being honest. I guess he was really trying to find that perfect guess just kind of ace placement. I'm not even sure you'd want to you'd even have aces on. I feel like, I don't know, I guess figure infinite or figure 8 might be the best ones, but I'm really not really sure how you would fully utilize ace here, as it is kind of a strange tower to use, especially, you know, with targeting and all that. You do have to, I guess, kind of plan out your A spots and the just the beginning, so that way if you put it on a certain pattern, you know, you can make use of the darts or the bombs that from Bomber Ace. Or if you have Sky Shredder, you know, obviously you want Sky Shredder kind of on top of balloons, but even then it's kind of strange. I wonder if NK will ever add a Wing Monkey into Battles too, although I do kind of doubt it, as that'd be kind of I feel like that'd probably cause a lot of lag. So he gets a very early Never Miss. I even sold sub for it. And even then, you know, Never Miss is still sort of leaking. It's, I guess, sort of keeping the Bloons at bay, but it's still not just kind of ideal. So he's actually sort of dying to my eco here. Hopefully I wasn't actually going to kill him, as I did want to see, you know, what his ace strategy is. Ace is a very underused tower in Battles too. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use ace before, as it does need some love and some buffs, mainly I guess to say kind of bottom and top path. Sky Shredder and Flying Fortress, I've heard, don't really do too well against, you know, bads and whatever. And of course, you know, Flying Fortress wasn't really the best against fortified DTs, which are kind of a issue late game. I guess that's why you have Sky Shredder, but I've also heard that Sky Shredder is also incredibly underwhelming, which is a bit sad, as I do think, you know, aces, they do deserve some loves. Fast forwarding a bit, you can see his guest strat take place here. It's Alchemist, Ace, and Sub with Churchill, which is actually kind of interesting, as I generally can't really think of, what would be your DDT defense here, if I'm being completely honest, as it does seem like you'd be incredibly weak against CETs. He does sends me some zebras, which don't really end up doing too much. I end up getting tax sprayer in the back just in case, but Icicles was easily able to take it down, even though I'm pretty sure Icicles can't even pop zebras, can it? But I guess just kind of who knows. And even then, he sends another rush that ultimately does pretty much nothing, so I guess kind of cool seeing that. Even though I use Icicles pretty much every game, I still do constantly underestimate it. It can defend, a lot of larger rushes than I usually think it can, so I guess there's that. But going back to his strategy, like I said before, how would you beat DTs? I'm guessing, you'd have to save up for Sar Bomba, but if you do save up and use the ability, then, you can just send another set of fortified DTs out and end up losing that way. So I end up sending him some regen ceramics just to hopefully have him do something, although Churchill is definitely a lot better than I thought. He cleaned up the regen ceramics, so fairly nicely. He sent me a regular mob. I guess he saw I was trying to get Monkey Town and ended up doing that. So I was kind of panicking a bit here, as I couldn't actually able to afford overdrive, I guess for the first go around of Moab, so that was kind of a bit worrying. Even sold I even sold Icicles to actually be able to defend this, so I was kind of hoping and praying that this would be more than enough, but I do end up leaking slides, but hopefully was able to defend that pretty nicely. So looking back, probably should have sent something in him, but I didn't for, I guess, just kind of no reason. Now, he wasn't sending an eco out, so I was kind of worried that he was actually going to go back in with another fortified mob, which he ends up doing. All I needed was 2 overdrives under a village, and I'm perfectly fine. Hopefully perfectly fine for that one. Kind of annoying to die kind of right here. But I definitely should have sent something at him, as I don't think Never Miss and Churchill would be good enough in order to actually able to beat a fortified mob. He ends up boosting the ceramic insights, but overdrive are pretty OP and is easily able to clean up that nicely. Send up a fortified mob at him. He immediately drops down another ace to get a fighter plane. I guess he realized that he wasn't really the best against mobs, but doesn't actually need fighter plane. So it was kind of surprising seeing that Never Miss is a lot better than I thought it was. So at this point, I guess we're just kind of ecoing, just kind of filling each other out, as I think we've automatically assumed that this match is going to go for pretty late, if I had to guess. But he's very aggressive and ends up sending me a regular BFB. I'm pretty sure I can defend this easily by just getting embrittlement, which is coming, of course, now. I actually haven't tested out BFB defense with this strategy because, no one sends BFBs, but I'm actually quite pleased with this. I know it was pretty much very easy defense. All I need is 2 overdrives, embrittlement, and boom. Defends easily. Didn't even need to boost. It's not like I could boost anyway since I used up all my boost. So I guess that was kind of a bit annoying, seeing as he does send a rush at me. I do have nothing to defend. I ended up selling embrittlement and an overdrive for a fortified ZOMG, as he can't defend this. With just the defense he has currently, there's no way. So I end up pretty much going all in. I didn't really want to take it to DETs, as again I was pretty tired of going late game. Climbing up the arenas, you do see a lot of people who are going like Druid sub ninja, and pretty much all late game strategies, and that's not really too fun to go late game constantly. So that was kind of a thing. So here, I think he was playing for first striking it, but he didn't for, I guess, just kind of whatever reason. I guess it's because I sent a fortified PvP. Sent mobs underneath, just kind of doing everything in my power to hopefully get this rush through to him. He is struggling a bit. He does have 2 ODSs, which doesn't seem to be doing too hot against this fortified ZOMG. It's making it pretty far by now, and so I figured, he might not be able to defend this. And of course, if he does defend, that means I'm screwed, seeing as, I can't actually do anything against it. So he does, I thought he'd end up leaking a lot more than he did, but he ended up not doing so. He gets bomb race, and that turns into ground 0, and it's a very last minute he ends up using ground 0. So that pretty much means that he's won the game, as I've killed my eco and can't really do anything, as I'd be dead for the next round, unfortunately. So that was a bit unfortunate. My rush didn't end up planning out, but that was pretty good on him, using ground 0 to pretty much win. So GG, fat boy, played well. finally got the exciting matches I wanted over in ZOMG Superdome. Low arenas aren't really just kind of as fun as or exciting.